Allah. By Allah, you have been deprived of life. Even now, if Allah were to place life into you once again, you shall come running to me. He spurs his Zuljana, Zuljana, take your master for his final battle. The horse does not move. Oh Zuljana, you are tired, as is your master. For the sake of Allah, take me one last time. The horse lowers its neck. Oh Zuljana, shall you abandon me? At that point, tears flow from the eyes of Zuljana, and as they descend upon the hooves of the horse, a soft voice rises. Oh father, I too have one last wasiyah. Hussein looks down and sees Sakina holding the legs of Zuljana and saying, oh horse, do not take my father. Whoever has gone has not returned. Oh child, what is it that you want? Oh father, descend from your mount. As Hussein descends, oh father, sit next to me. Yes, Sakina. Oh father, take me into your lap. When Hussein takes Sakina into his lap, she said, oh father, caress my head as you would caress a head of an orphan. Hussein caresses the head of Sakina. Oh Sakina, let me go. Oh father, where shall you abandon me? Oh Sakina, I shall bring back some water for you. When Sakina hears of water, she trembles. I am no longer thirsty, oh father. My uncle promised me water and he did not come back. I fear you too shall go and not come back. Oh Sakina, go inside. She cries out, Astaslamta lil maut. Oh father, have you submitted to death? He said, oh Sakina, how may I not submit to death when I don't have my Abbas or Akbar? She said, oh father, if you have to go, then take your Sakina back to Medina and then go. Hussein cried uncontrollably, called for Zainab and said, oh Zainab, take away your child. Hussein mounts Zuljana, goes and engages with the enemy. It was some time that he was fighting. He became mindful of Zainab. He came back to the tent and called out, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. When Zainab heard the voice of Hussein, she found some comfort that my brother is still alive. He did this for 3 times. And then, for whatever reason, he entered within the Euphrates. I will say, oh master, is it the thirst of Sakina? He came out of the Euphrates back to the tents, cried out, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-ali al-azim for the 3rd time. This time when Hussein made way for the battlefield, 4,000 archers were told to make Hussein the target of their arrows. As Hussein appeared within the battlefield, the arrows were released from the bows and they penetrated within the body of Al-Hussein. And as the master began to descend, the 12th Imam calls out, my salutations on my grandfather, who on the Asr of Ashura was neither on his saddle nor on the plains of Karbala, but hung between the two on a bed of arrows. Hussein extracted the arrows and began to fight. They surrounded Al-Hussein and they began to strike him with their arrows, their spears, their swords, and threw stones at him. Hussein was looking towards the skies in anguish and saying to Allah, oh Allah, I have fulfilled my oath. Fulfill your oath. There was no response from the heavens. There's a hadith from the 7th Imam that finally, when Hussein looked towards the sky, Allah said, oh Hussein, I have fulfilled my oath. I will forgive every lover of yours. And there was a cry, Ya ayyatuha an-nafsul mutma'inna, irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan maradiyya. When Hussein heard this cry, he dropped his blade. As Hussein dropped his sword, he stood. An enemy rode up to him and embedded a spear into his neck. Hussein came to his knees. As he came to his knees, another one came and struck him with a sword on his head. Hussein's helmet broke and blood gushed forth. As the blood gushed forth, Hussein cried out, "Anta thiqati fi kulli hali, wala ma'buda siwak." Oh Allah, I rely on you in every affair. There is no God but you, O Allah. When Zuljana saw this, saw that the enemies were closing in on Al-Hussein, he began to run around Hussein to save Hussein from the enemies. Hussein fell into the sajda. Zuljana is protecting Hussein. When Zuljana saw that he could no longer protect Al-Hussein, he placed his neck upon the wounds oozing, the blood oozing from the neck of Al-Hussein, and ran towards the tents. As this was happening, Shimr approached. A call was sounded, "Await not, behead the man." They hesitated, for they saw Hussein in sajda. Shimr approached, grabbed Al-Hussein's head with the hair and flung him upon his back. Shimr places his knee on the chest of Al-Hussein, extracts his blade, and as he places it on the neck of Al-Hussein, we hear from hadith that the soul of Muhammad and Ali and Fatima and Hassan, who are present, Ibrahim, Musa and Isa, they all began to tremble. Fatima is pleading with Shimr. Muhammad Rasulullah turned his face. Ali and Murtaza turned his face. Ibrahim, Ismail, Isa and Musa left Karbala. Fatima looked at her father. "Oh father, do you not see what is happening? Oh Ali, will you not aid Hussein?" Hussein feels a shadow upon him. "Who is this?" A voice descends. "It is I, your mother Fatima. I have come to fulfill my oath, O Hussein." We are told that Zainab had not heard the voice of Hussein, and she ran towards the direction of Hussein's maqtal. She arrives on top of a hill and she looks on, and what does she see? She sees that Shimr is sitting on the chest of Al-Hussein and he is about to behead Hussein. It is said that when the Arab women fell into grief and found no escape, out of anguish they would place their hands upon their heads and cry out. Zainab placed her hands upon her head and cried out, "If only the heavens would collapse upon the earth, if only the mountains would crumble. Isn't there anyone who can save Abu Abdullah?" When Zainab cried out, Hussein heard her voice. He looked towards the hill and he indicated to her sister, "Oh sister, retreat. I am still alive. Oh mother of my daughter, go back to the tents." Zainab is retreating, and as she retreats she says, "Ya Abu Abdullah, call on to me so that I know you are still alive." As Zainab was retreating, she was turning and looking towards the maqtal of Hussein, and all of a sudden the sun was eclipsed and Karbala began to tremble. There was a violent storm. Zainab ran to Sajjad. "Oh Sajjad, take news of your father." Sajjad comes to the door of the tent, and as he